Hello and welcome to the CiviWiki weekly meeting. Today's Monday, May 14th, 2018. My name is Briley Christopher Oxley.
And I am Mitchell West.
I'm Gordon Spangler.
I'm Joe Grassel.
Cool.
All Shide.
Oh, sorry, Paul, I interrupted you. And as Mitchell was indicating right before we started this meeting, Gordon is on dial-in on telephone and we'll get kicked off right at 30 minutes. So we wanted to start with you, Gordon. Do you want to give us an update about your progress?
Okay. I went ahead and I finished up a couple bugs. So specifically ones that I mentioned that I would finish up last week. I got the login error taken care of. I got the like where it was doing funny symbols. I got bug number 21, which was the just put doc strings on everything, and that's completely finished all the way up until last week's upload. Knocked out bug number 161, 171, whose names have completely escaped me. I also had the utter misfortune of, and I'm sure you guys have seen the pull request that I made. I actually merged everything under my all pending request updates, everything. So I'm gonna have to. I tried rebasing so that I'd only have my updates to push to you guys.
Yeah.
But that didn't work very well because I had already committed to my repository.
All right.
So I'm in the process of just nuking everything and starting from over.
Okay.
I've copied all my updates, just my updates, into another folder, but my internet decided to die Saturday, and the earliest the Spectrum guy could get here was sometime today between 9 a.m. and 6 p.m. Don't ever let cats sit on the stupid little modem boxes.
Okay,
Once
cool.
the Spectrum guy gets here, I'm going to get all that updated. Unfortunately, I don't have internet, so you guys are just going to have to assign me a new bug.
Yeah, that's cool. So I was just reading your PR, and it's good that you're starting a new branch from scratch, and then you can just cherry pick those changes you made, so that we don't lose that work since you've already spent time on that.
Yeah,
cool. So that's good work. One thing I'd like to encourage is that every pull request should be really focused in doing one kind of thing. And it can close multiple issues if those issues are related, if there's some kind of cluster of bugs or a couple of features that might be touching the same part of the code. The issues that are marked as being fixed by pull request number 193, they are not so closely related. So I would urge you to open 3 or 4 pull requests. It makes the review a lot easier, and we can just close it really quick that way.
Okay, not a problem.
Cool, thank you. And other than that, I see that the collision, the kind of train wreck of commits, I've had that happen where I work too, where I'll somehow I'll get my local branch out of sync with the other development activities, and then when I rebase, everything is like I've got hundreds of commits and lines that are not things that I did, and it's a little bit of a pain, but I would just have to go and kind of cherry pick the changes I made and clean it up. So I feel your pain there.
Yeah, been there, done that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So, but it looks like, so the issues that you were mentioning, since you're on your phone, I'll go ahead and read them off. You're doing the doc string on all model files. That one, just open a pull request just for the doc strings. And
okay, I will do that.
So Firefox and Safari are rendering the apostrophe. It sounded like that was a small fix, maybe. So just open up.
Yeah, that's 4 lines.
Yeah, I was thinking
of
so.
Code. So
just
no problem.
Open up one for that, and I can glance at it and approve it. Usually things that are that small,
okay.
Like on the train or something, I can approve a pull request. Now there's 2 to 3 refactor, and there's one more, 193. I think those can go in the same PR. What was it? Anyway, the 2 to 3 refactor is the big one, right? That's got the most changes.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, so that would be its own pull request. Maybe it's it. Maybe there's only
Yeah.
3 of them. Seemed like there's 4 issues marked as closed on the FPS. Okay, so let me know. You can just mention my name in GitHub or send me an email whenever those pull requests are ready for review.
Okay.
Oh, the
I'll do
relative
that.
imports.
And while we're talking about Gordon, we might want to jump over to the waffle board to decide what next tasks to assign Gordon since he's on the phone.
Yeah.
Since he mentioned that he couldn't
Well,
see that, so
I
maybe
think
we
that
jump over.
Let's give them a
to
chance
that.
to finish these up. I think these might take a week to iron out the 2 to 3 in the pull request thing, unless you really want to stack on another issue, because right now he's got 3 in the in progress column.
You can toss me something, and it really doesn't matter. You know, if I get started on it, awesome. If it turns out that it's going to be longer, you know, if I can not get to it for like Tuesday or something, I'll just put it back.
Well, let's flip it the other way around. Let's say by Tuesday or something, some day in the next couple of days, look at our next up column on the waffle, the Kanban board, or filter the issues by next up tag, and self-assign one of those, 1 or maybe 2 at the most if they're small and related. Do you know?
Okay, I'll do that.
All right, cool. So, do you know how to get to our waffle? It's linked in the README, or if you just go to the GitHub issues, you can use the filters to say, you know, next up, good first issue, help wanted. Those are the low-hanging fruit ones.
Okay, no problem.
That sounds good. So maybe we should move on to Gordon's updates for the week. Joe's updates for the week.
Yeah, that works. So basically, I've been working on number 150, which is the sharing Civi threads. And I've been building a drop-down menu with like a button next to the export one, just to the right of it, basically. And I'm almost done with it. I just did like a couple more like CSS tweaks, basically. I was wondering though if you guys would want like a Google +1 button on there.
Well, one thing I would like to mention, we haven't really talked about, but these social media sharing buttons are a privacy concern.
Okay.
So what they do, many implementations, they render code directly from Facebook or Google. Like they go, while the page is loading, they pull in these third-party scripts, and these companies are not using them, or they're using them to track people across the web.
Yeah, they use a script to generate an iframe, and then they like load the button in the iframe. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Okay, cool. So let's not use any of those types of scripts.
Okay, so you're saying like a custom button for like each link?
Yeah, in fact, there's a plugin, a JavaScript thing that I can find the link to, and there's probably another example of this. But anyways, all it does is it's ready-made, and it'll render a configurable sharing menu that you pick which networks, and all of the code is stored locally. It doesn't pull any code from any third-party sites. I think it's called Carrot Share.
Oh yeah, that would actually be perfect, because I was actually running into some issues with like some of the iframes from like Facebook and stuff. They were like causing like a couple of weird like CSS glitches.
Yeah, exactly. And you shouldn't have to fight with any of that. This is such a common pattern. Dang, it's unmaintained. It's such a common pattern let's try to turn to a library, a small library. Oh man, Carrot Share is unmaintained and their website has been squatted, so I can't really recommend this one. If you, I'm not sharing my screen. What issue number is this? I'll try to find a link to this.
Yeah, it's gonna be number 150.
150. Okay, cool. So let's just both do some research here. If you just do a couple Google searches for like JavaScript share button, something like that, and just try to find one that doesn't load any third-party assets.
Yeah, okay, sounds good. Thank you.
Yep. 150.
That sounds really good. And is that going to keep you busy moving into next week, or do we want to talk about additional issues to assign?
I should be able to finish it up pretty quickly from here, but after that, if there's like still some add ID issues, I think I would like tackle those next and just get those out of the way.
All right, cool. Make sure to self-assign any issue when you start working on it, because that was currently in the prioritized backlog with no assignee. Is your GitHub name is Delta Plus?
Yeah, that's me.
Yeah, I thought so. I'm just going to move it to in progress and put you as the assignee there.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, that sounds sounds good. So I'll say too. One thing too, everyone can take a look at if you have a few extra minutes. We did, I believe, and you can confirm this, Briley. Did Juhi push up the edits to the About Us page?
I'll have to look at the pull request if it got merged. I don't have a quick recollection of that, so Juhi. I can check in the done column. About Us. It looks like it's in the next up column, no assignee.
Well, then I'm gonna jump on trying to get that correctly pushed up, as I did one draft of it and then GitHub didn't push it up, which might have been a conflict because I had a couple of other privacy policy edits that I didn't want to push up, and I don't think I had updated everything. I had pulled down an updated copy of all of our files, so that might have created something that prevented me from uploading it.
All right, I'll go
Either
ahead
way, I ended up emailing it to Juhi since she had drafted the original About Us page,
Okay.
and she made, I think, one change where I had some div elements out of order. But we are in a position soon to have that pushed up to where we'll have updated that page to have just active contributors and resting contributors. So if if you want to add either a picture or an email to your active contributor little like profile block, then just make sure that you upload a picture you would like to our images thread, sorry, images file, and send either a copy of an email you'd want to be uploaded to me, or you could put it in line in the code, but I can put it in if you just want to have an email. Otherwise, it'll just be a blank space where we say, no email provided, and you'll have a kind of stand-in, blank square for your picture. But if you have a picture you'd like to have online, then just upload it to GitHub, and we can get the link properly set. I believe the links that I had planned on using were just your first name with no capital letters and we used PNG files. But whatever you upload, we can probably make it work.
Okay, I'm trying to.
Aside from that, I don't have a separate update from Juhi. I spoke to her briefly, but haven't gotten any input on. I don't think she pushed up her work as yet on the update she was making. I will email her after this call to try and get an update, and if there's anything that I can pass along, I'll pass it out through Riot or otherwise. The other thing I did want to check with Gordon, I know last week we had been talking about doing some work on trying to integrate ProPublica. Was that part of your big pull request?
No, it was not. Thankfully I hadn't merged that code in with the rest of the spaghetti I've got on my computer. But that is also ready to go up. It's just, again, once Spectrum gets here and does their dark magic, then I'll be able to get that up.
Sounds good. Well, that's great to have. It sounds like you got a lot of work done this last week.
Yep.
So we're looking forward to seeing that pushed up. Paul, did you have any updates you wanted to give, or any comments on what we've talked about or plans for the next week?
Nope, not really. Everything seems fine.
Well, I think we've covered the main issues. So I'm going to need to reach out to Juhi to get an update from her. But looks like we have good updates in terms of progress from Gordon and Joe, and we have plans for next week. So I guess I'll open it up to any additional issues that people want to raise. I know we've only got like 8 minutes possibly before Gordon might get kicked off the call. So
Hey, totally aside, but what's the status of the what is the latest code red in the U.S. with net neutrality? It's going to a vote in Congress to sort of repeal the FCC ruling. and there's a, like, basically, they won't leave net neutrality alone, so we just have to, every like 6 months or so, we have to like stand up and say, hey, we want net neutrality, and the majority of the United States populace has said that we want net neutrality, but then it's being ignored. Do you, are any of you following this?
Yeah, actually, Washington State just passed a law that protects net neutrality. It's like the first state in the U.S. to do so.
Nice. Okay.
California has something on the line as well. State of Missouri obviously went the complete other way, and they're banning municipalities from, banning anti-net neutrality stuff.
Yeah.
I think Congress is supposed to, either they've already voted or they are having a vote sometime within the next couple of days.
Yeah, this is the link I'm sending in the chat. It says, call your congressperson now. This is the time. Because Congress can override that FCC ruling, and they'll hook you up with who to call if you fill in the form. It's battleforthenet/red alert.
Yep. You only need one to put.
Okay, yeah, it's really close then, huh?
Yep.
But then Donald Trump has to also sign it, so.
Oh God, we're all in trouble now.
That makes me want to cry. Okay.
Yeah. It would be nice. We had one net neutrality post on CiviWiki. I don't think it's a very detailed post. It'd be interesting to try and add another solution Civi to that links in. I guess it would only be relevant for a short period of time. But even, just a general contact your representative before, since we don't have full implementation. It might be fun to do some more writing on net neutrality on CiviWiki. But definitely thank you for the link, because that's, right now a better way to make an impact. But it'd be really great if we could have our platform to a place that it could be a channel for this sort of advocacy.
Yeah, definitely. And it's good to align with these other groups, because we don't want to act in a vacuum, basically.
Yeah, I'm pulling up that link. Any other comments on this topic, or another topic someone wants to raise?
Yeah. So, like, as far as the social media links, are there any besides like the big three, like Facebook, Twitter, and Reddit, that you guys would want? Like, would Google Plus be like even an option? I'm not sure if that's like even like a relevant thing that a lot of people use these days.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's find the library and see what it supports, and then come back to that question.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. I'll just add a comment then on like 150.
Yeah, I did. I added a comment.
And I've seen. And I was gonna say, yeah. Sorry.
Go ahead, Goku.
What were you gonna say, Gordon?
Oh, I said, how about Dig? Don't forget Dig.
Oh yeah, it's true. MySpace.
Sorry.
Sounds good.
Yeah, and I was just gonna say that I think that isn't there a way to use just any Gmail account rather than a Google Plus account particularly?
Well, I was gonna have like an email button in there. That's not like too hard to implement. Just like a mail to link, basically. But as far as like a Gmail like specific link, would that just be like to create a Gmail email?
Basically, Google Plus is a little bit different than email, so it's not to be confused necessarily with Gmail. Google Plus is a social network of like sharing photos and sites.
But I've seen on other websites. So I've seen the Google Plus buttons before. I don't feel like the Google Plus, social media website really took off. So I don't see it as like a great button to have, because I feel like relatively fewer people use that platform. But maybe I'm wrong. But I have seen other websites that have just had where it's not necessarily just your email, but it's specifically linked to Gmail accounts, and that I feel like that might be a little broader. But I suppose if we just have an email login, that's also just as easy. But I agree. We'll do some more research on what resources we have for easily integrating. I think the more the merrier in terms of easy ways for people to create a secured account. Are there any other comments on this issue or another issue we want to raise? Got like 3 minutes before we might lose Gordon. Hearing none, I think we're coming near the close of the meeting. We've got good progress and good plans for next week. I'm going to reach out to Juhi to see about getting a written update on her progress, and I will pass that along if there's anything relevant. If there are no additional comments, I suppose we can cut it off for a good week of work.
All right,
All right,
thanks, y'all.
sounds good.
Sounds like a
Talk
plan.
to you guys next week.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
See everyone next week.
Okay.
Yep. Later.